welcome back. Flip and Customize, Scott here. You haven't joined our channel, now's the time to do so. Just wanted to give a quick update on our bobber build. So since the last time we talked, it's actually come quite a ways. Well, clearly not, kind of. The second episode, we stripped the bike down completely. Well, since then, we have sent the frame out and some various pieces and parts out to sandblasting. We got that stuff back. Now we're in the process of kind of mapping it all out, laying it all out, and cutting components off and pieces of the frame off that we don't need. Fitting the tank up for our manual sight glass that we're gonna do. So unfortunately, I had already had the tank setting on there. It's not mocked up properly yet, but just to get an idea where the fittings are gonna go, I pre-drilled where the fittings are gonna go, and we sent the tank off to my buddy over at Main Off-Road Enterprise, TJ, and he's going to TIG weld those fittings up because I'm not set up for TIG welding here. So let me kind of show you what we're doing on the bike, what we've done on the bike so far, and just kind of, I'd like to keep you up to speed as to what's going on. All right, here's our frame all blasted down, and we hit it with some all prep as well to keep it from rusting here in the shop. We've kind of looked at some different options with the tank. This is the old tank mount right here. It has some rubber grommets on it. We're not even using that old tank. If you remember from our other episode, we're using a tank out of a Honda Rebel, I believe it is. So with that, excuse me, that tank mocked up setting on here, these mounts go away. They get cut off, flushed off right there. And our new tank mount we're going to weld right here. And as you kind of go along the bike, you're going to see different things. We just kind of write on the frame. Overflow. The customers here, a week ago, and we discussed how we want to do is overflow. We want to do something cool. I love the Jack Daniels theme. I try to use it in a lot of my stuff and my builds. So we are going with an overflow bottle. Is it going to be Jack Daniels? I don't know. But anyway, we got our, from Motorcycle J's, we got our electronics tank. So it's just an empty can that he kind of fabs up and fits for these bikes, and it bolts into some of the factory tabs that you have. You have to cut one of your tabs off right here, which we did, along with them other fab pieces. We started doing some cutting now, honestly, and then I remember that I'm way behind on filming YouTube, but the rear pegs are going, so that goes away. We kind of mocked up our seat. It's a Springer seat, and with the springs land on it, there's a couple different ways you can do it. I don't trust them just to sit on the frame right here, like other folks have done. You could weld a plate right across. We're going to get probably TJ to cut us out a couple of half moons. And we're going to butt weld them up to the frame right here. So the springs have a nice clean target to sit on. That will be pretty cool. So that's going here. We're going to weld those on. We're actually going to cut the frame off right here as well. So the back half of the frame, this is a solo. It's not going to be, no passengers on this thing. So the frame gets cut off here. Then we're going to fab up some kind of a flush mount here with some little pod LED type lights that are going to go in right here and here. So that will be our blinkers. The swing arm, we've actually already powder coated that in a gator wrap. So let me show you that. Remember the colors we discussed? Let me see if it's over here. Pieces and parts. As you know, we got the wheels done. I hope I showed you the wheels. If not, I'm going to do that. That's the swing arm into the gator. So it literally looks like a gator hide. It's freaking rad. We got that. We got some other pieces and parts in. Again, that's at the Enchanted Forest, that green. This is the velocity stack for the intake. We're collecting parts. Just got these in, some handlebar risers for this bike as well. These were black, and we went ahead and blasted them and did them in the brass. Because this bike is black-green with a brass theme on it. Oh, and speaking of that, we actually put out there on our social media, we're trying to name this build. So I'm not good at that stuff when I name them, just like, that's kind of corny or whatever, but we got a few suggestions, and today we kind of come to the decision. I think what we're going to call it is bob and weave. So welcome to Project Bob and Weave. This is our metric bobber, Honda Shadow. This thing's going to be rad when it's done. You got to stay tuned. It is going to be rad. Let me show you what else. Other mods on the frame. This is an old exhaust mount right here. Where the factory exhaust was. We're going to cut that off and clean that off as well. Again with the other passenger mount and some other tabs and whatever that we have on this bike that we just don't need anymore. Along with the other motorcycle fuel tank mount. The engine itself over here. No, not that one. This one. We have completely degreased and cleaned it up. We're doing something special for an engine side cover. You're going to see what that is. Going to be rad. It's ready for paint, almost ready for paint. We got to take the carb off, rejet the carburetor, but there's no other engine mods to this otherwise besides cleaning it up and repainting it. So we're getting ready to do that now. That's never fun, taping these off and painting them, so that is coming. All right, some of the stuff that we just can't powder coat because we're not taking the gears out of this housing right here. I'm not going down to that degree as far as stripping this out goes. Or at least what was in the plan. So we're going to leave the gears and all meshed like that, but we're going to clean this up, degrease it, and I've got some other paint. It's a textured paint that I've used in the past on my metric bobber that actually works really well when the metal's cleaned up. So we're going to use that on this. I believe one of the handlebar risers, I can't remember on that as well. But some other miscellaneous things that we've done. You know about the exhaust, we got that in. I've been doing, like I said, some powder coating. Here are the LED pod lights. They're actually little tiny LED lights, like trailer lights, essentially. So he got them in a variety pack. Customer dropped these off as well. These are the metal or the brass fittings for our sight glass on the fuel tank we're going to be using. That's an 1/8 inch NPT. Here's a better shot of that gator hide powder coat. So we kind of shifted directions. Now that I'm thinking of that, sorry, I'm all over the map, but is the frame was originally going to be a mini textured black, but a mini textured black is like a nice satiny finish. However, it's not far off from stock, and you kind of really wanted this thing to pop. So it looks like we stripped it down to the frame, and we took the time to do it. So that gator hide you see over there, the whole frame is getting that. So that's going to be freaking rad. So we can't do that naturally until all of our fabrication is done. But he went ahead and got the headlight in. Pretty sweet, right? LED ring for a running light. It actually mounts to the forks, so that's going to be cool. And the forks are the other component we're going to be painting. Different battery box, also from Motorcycle J's, that actually mounts down on the swing arm that we're going to be putting in. Down in here, actually, on the swing arm. So we had to get another battery, which is like 1/3 the size of the factory battery. So just keep that in mind. Push button start. So we've still got to figure out a mount for that. And these are his blinker controls. So we're basically trying to strip these handlebars down to nothing. So we're going to find a place to mount this as well. Not necessarily up on your handlebar next to your grip, but someplace nevertheless. And the bars. The handlebars themselves will come in. They are gloss black right now. They're probably not going to stay gloss black. So that's going to change too. I'm pretty sure in our last video, these were just stripped. We didn't do anything with them yet. Since that video, I've gone ahead and had the wheels itself blasted. We powder coated it with that Enchanted Forest, which is like a satiny metallic finish powder coat. New bearings, new seals, wrapped in a what kind of tire is it? Shinko tire front and rear, so the rear is done as well. Wide white walls. So this is going to look pretty sick on this bike. And then I went ahead and did the center of the rotor itself. This is the mini textured black, and then surrounded the bolts. All this is in the Enchanted Forest. So already starting to come together. So if you can envision that with the bike in that gator hide and the tank as well in this green and the fender, it's going to pop. All right, now that you guys are pretty much all caught up to speed, I got to get back to cutting this thing up because I've got to keep working on it. If I don't keep working on it and keep talking, it ain't getting done. So thanks for watching, guys.